Thanks so much for joining us today on Feelin' Good, sponsored by Warren County Community Services. I'm your host, Shelly Abrams, and today, as you can see, we are outside on the site of the USS Cincinnati Submarine Memorial and Peace Pavilion here at the VOA Metro Park, just off of Tylersville Road. And our guest today is Bob Viney, who has been a major force on this project for probably the last
13 years.
13 years, precisely. So we are delighted that he's here today, and I just thought, since we visited here about a year ago, things have really taken shape, and as I always say, the submarine looks like it's surfacing. So tell us what we're looking at today, Bob.
Okay, well, we thought we'd start with a picture of what the site is going to look like next spring when we finish and have a grand opening about mid-May, May 15th of 2026. So there's three basic elements, physical elements to the memorial. The first and the most obvious is the full-size replica of the USS Cincinnati, which was a fast-attack nuclear submarine that served during the Cold War. And the upper sail, the sail area, the forward planes, the rudder that's over there by Shelly, and the big red machine are all equipment that came from the submarine and will fit on this full-size replica. It's 360 feet long, so that's like goalpost to goalpost at Paul Brown Stadium, and it's 32 feet in diameter. So people will be able to comfortably, as you can see from the rendition here, walk through the entire length of the submarine and get a sense of what takes place in each compartment of the submarine as you tour. The other key elements are the educational center, the STEM Educational Center, where we will host hands-on activities with the kids for doing STEM-related activities. And then the other side is the wharf and pier, which will be an area where speakers and concerts, bands can take place for public celebrations that take place here at VOA. So we'll put this down and we'll kind of take a walk and look at each one of those three elements and talk about the status so far.
Okay, so here we are at the kind of the entryway to the STEM Educational Center here behind us. Bob, fill us in a little bit on what you anticipate seeing going on here.
Well, we're going to have several pieces of equipment that will enable us to conduct hands-on activities with students. First, you can see that there's windows on the outside, and on the other side, we're going to have displays of artifacts and so forth, so that when the STEM Education Center is not open, visitors can still see some of those things inside. The idea is that just like Metro Parks is open 365 days a year from sunrise to sunset, our memorial will also be open 365 days a year, but we will not be manning the education center every day, only on certain days, a lot of days during the summer with summer programs, etc.
Okay.
Inside, we have plans for a buoyancy tank where we will teach kids some of the physics of air and water pressure interactions at depth. We also have a program called Sea Perch, which is building a robotic submersible, and then the kids can control it in the water tank where they make it dive, make it surface, and pick things up from the bottom. We're also going to have a tabletop electrolyzer One of the parts of submarine operations that makes us very different from the old World War II boats is we make our own oxygen from seawater. So we're able to demonstrate to kids how that process works, because every nuclear submarine has basically an electrolyzer that generates oxygen and hydrogen from water. So we're going to be able to show them that. They'll be able to see how it operates, and that could prepare them for a career in the renewable energy sector 10 years, 20 years from now, which hydrogen will probably be part of.
Okay.
We also have a hydrogen car that makes hydrogen from a solar cell and a little electrolyzer, and then you change the connections and it hooks up to a fuel cell and the car drives. So the kids will actually see that they can make a car move from water and sunlight. And the final thing is we'll have a navigation table where we're going to do a lot of math exercises related to how does a submarine know where it is in the open ocean or off the coast of a landmass, and how do they navigate across vast, well, USS Cincinnati went all the way around the world submerged. How do they do that? How do you navigate a round globe on a flat chart and determine course and speed and time of travel and all that? So really good math exercises for the kids to do related to what we did on the submarine. The back of it also has 2 restrooms. So they'll be open to the public every day, and they're going to be managed by the Westchester Township and Butler Parks people. That isn't going to be managed by the volunteers from our group.
But speaking of that, this has been quite a collaboration, hasn't it, to bring this together. After all these years, what originally the idea sort of was born, how many years ago would you say?
Well, it actually started 20 years ago when the USS Cincinnati was first decommissioned. And a group of submarine veterans thought, why don't we bring the entire submarine, anchor it along the Ohio River at the banks, and open it up as a museum ship? And the Navy said, nah, too many confidential pieces of information that we'd have to remove before you could do that. So they said, we will give you pieces. So we had pieces. We developed from that. We said, well, how are we going to still teach kids about STEM topics? So it's evolved through if it was on the banks, it might look like this. But now that we're up here at the Voice of America, where we have a tie-in with one of the great Cold War elements that helped us to win the Cold War, the Voice of America Broadcast Museum. Tying those two together, we think, is going to make this a uniquely attractive, historic, educational, and really patriotic site for people across Ohio and probably across the country.
Well, and also this location is, and many of you probably have watched soccer games and lacrosse games at the neighboring athletic venue that's right here across the pond, right?
Yes. We were told by Metro Parks there's 88,000 kids and families that come here every year to play on these fields. And they're going to be having a tournament at 9 and then another one at 1. What are the kids going to do for 3 hours? Holy mackerel, what the heck is this? It's just across the pond. I've never seen anything like it. And of course, kids in the Midwest who may not have ever traveled to a Navy base are not going to know what a nuclear submarine looks like or how cool it is and how much interesting technology there is involved in one of these.
Right, for sure. So there's just so much, and there's so much that has gone on. I know that we've been talking about, I mean, you just don't say, oh, we'd like to put this here, and poof, it happens. There are many agencies and many, like formalities that you need to go through, correct?
Well, without the partnerships of starting with Jack Dominic at the VOA Broadcast Museum, to Joe Henson at the Westchester Liberty Chamber, to the township administrators, to the Butler County commissioners.
And the Metro Park folks.
Yeah, the Metro Park folks.
And who knew that this was, right, a part of a national park, kind of?
We had to get approval from the National Park Service, where Warren Davidson was very helpful in that. And of course, the people who designed this, the McGill Punch Smith group, and Conger Construction is doing a wonderful job building this for us.
Right.
Something no one has ever done before.
Well, on that note, let's go to another location on the site and have you explain a little bit more in depth what's happening there.
Okay.
Okay, great. Okay, now we have moved, I don't know, how many feet? Halfway. Which would be about?
About 180 feet.
Okay. And tell us what we're seeing here behind us.
Okay. Well, behind us here is the full-size replica of the USS Cincinnati, fast attack nuclear submarine. The rings that you see, we call them the hull rings. They are the exact diameter of the submarine. And when you string them all together, as we've done here, the length from bow to stern is going to be the exact length of the submarine, 360 feet. As you can see, we have the lower half of the sail mounted in place. And underneath, where you see those gray conduit lines coming down, that's going to be the power for the control room that we're going to build in the area underneath the sail. And we have to have our own air conditioning system because our plan is to put ship's control panels from a submarine that's been decommissioned in our display, as well as a periscope, so that, again, when it's open, kids will be able to come in and use the periscope and see how a periscope operates. You might notice there's a notch in the sail, and that's where the fairwater planes will sit. The forward planes that are on either side of the sail, they're connected with a big round support that goes right through the sail, right where that notch is. And they will be delivered to the site and installed within the next 4 or 5 days. And after that, the top half of the sail will be brought up and put in place. And then we'll have the whole sail, like you saw in the rendition, will be completed. The last element will be the rudder at the stern of the ship.
So what is considered to be the conning tower?
The conning tower is the sail. Conning tower is a World War II submarine term because they actually had a compartment in the sail where the ship was conned or driven from.
Okay.
Nuclear submarines, that's all open to the sea, and all it is a container, if you will, for all the masts that go up from the body of the ship up to the top of the sail. But there is a watertight pressure trunk that goes up the sail, up to what's called the bridge at the very top, where no more than 2 or 3 people could stand when we're navigating the ship on the surface. But that's, so we call it the sail. So we also call it the conning tower.
Oh,
That's
okay.
just a historical term.
Interchangeable.
Yes, interchangeable. The hull rings, you can see that there are horizontal supports connecting each of the hull rings. The area of those supports will be covered, and it will simulate the part of the hull that you would see if the submarine was actually on the surface. The part that's open is the part that's below the surface. Most of the submarine is below the surface when we're surfaced. And we will be putting solar panels on top of that cover, and the solar panels will power everything on the site, and hopefully we'll have enough extra power on days like today for sure to be able to sell it back to Duke and help offset some of the ongoing monthly expenses with operating the site.
Well, you mentioned the building of the connecting of the rings and so forth, and that was all done through welding, is that correct?
Totally, yes. Now, two types of welding. The welding of this steel horizontal bar to the hull rings is traditional steel welding. They're basically the same kind of steel. The welding up there to secure the lower half of the sail in the supports we built for it is two different types of steel. It's the common steel that we're using to build the site with the very unique steel that's used in constructing the hull of a submarine.
Which requires a little different training.
Yes, it did. And it requires different welding practices and different welding materials to make sure that the weld is going to hold and it won't crack over time. So that installation was delayed about 3.5 weeks while our welding company went through and certified some of their welders.
So also, if you're thinking of welding, right?
As a career?
As a career.
Yes.
That's also something that you're going to be promoting, correct?
One of the displays that we will have here when people enter the site will be all about how do we build submarines. And we want to include that and highlight that because with Butler Tech and some of the other skilled trade schools that we have in the area, we know not every kid in high school is going to go to college. And not everyone is going to study STEM topics. But kids who are going to go into a trade, we want them to know not only could you run your own HVAC business or be a roofer or electrician or a plumber, you could actually build submarines. And
they're really in demand, right?
They really are in demand. Our nation can't build enough submarines to keep up with our global competitors. And I've seen the estimate is we need about 100,000 skilled tradesmen to come into that career over the next 10 years. So we're going to try and do our part to make sure that kids know about it and that we can hopefully excite some kids and say, open up their minds to a whole range of skilled careers that they may not have ever been aware of.
Right, very good. Well, as I'm glancing down this landscape right here, I'm noticing something that looks like it might be a big red machine, but it's covered in pink. Tell us about that.
Well, that is the big red machine, and it is covered. Once it was, we had to leave off one of the rings in order to set it in place. So once it was in place, we had to put up the rings, connect the horizontal connections to it, and of course, it's beautiful right now. It's painted gleaming red, and
you can see a little bit of the red, right?
All the panels are beautiful red, or they're plexiglass with lighting so that kids can actually see the inside of it when they walk through here. It is going to be until May before we have ribbon cutting. So we don't want this to sit out exposed to the winter weather all year, right? And we had to weld above it. So we wanted to protect it from any of the welding aspects. So yes, it's going to be like that probably until sometime next spring.
So if anybody is driving by or driving down the driveway here and looking for the big red machine, it's underneath the pink blanket.
Right.
Okay, very good.
Let's walk over and take a look at the wharf.
Okay.
And the pier.
Sounds good. So here we are next to the water feature. We're kind of, I'm kind of thinking this is simulation of sea breeze, but we're not exactly on the sea. We're here on the pond.
Well, we're on the wharf.
On the wharf, which is next to
the retention pond.
The retention pond. And Bob's going to explain a little bit more how this side of the memorial will be structured.
Okay. And this is the part where we kind of had two goals. One was a practical one. We wanted there to be a raised stage, if you will, so that people could be able to sit underneath the shade of the submarine and listen to speeches, listen to concerts, etc. on special days. What you don't see is the pier part. The pillars that are standing, the concrete pillars, are going to have a wooden deck laid from the wharf across them, so that you'll actually be standing over the water when the pond level returns to normal. If we could go down to the front, I'll show you the main access to this area is going to be what we call wedding cake stairs. It's a semicircular stair that that people will be able to walk up. What we're on right now is the handicap ramp that enables people with mobility limitations, enables them to get up to the wharf as well.
Good. Okay. Well, let's travel on down to the pier.
Okay.
Okay, so here we are at the area that will be the wedding cake stairs.
Right.
Right in this area.
Right in this area here where it's dug out.
Okay.
And then you can see the part of the wall, the decorative wall, that's been left blank because the stairs will be actually against that.
And you said the decorative work was done by design, and you will have different.
Across these we'll have different large displays of various naval elements. But we are planning to have lights on the Fairwater planes. We're going to paint the hull number 693 just as it was when it was in commission, and there will be lighting on either side that'll post that. The rudder used to have a light at the top. We're looking to find a commercial replacement for that so that we can just have a single light at the rudder as well. And I didn't look at in the plaza. There's going to be a landscaped area where we have flagpoles and some plaques, and that area will have lighting for the flagpoles.
Okay, very good. Well, this structure, we were just talking about how massive the pieces look up close. And you said, what's the weight?
The weight of the conning tower that we got, the sail, the water planes, the big red machine, and the upper rudder, together is about 100 tons of submarine. And of course, we've added a few tons of steel here on our own in the structure. But one of the interesting aspects that delayed us was we did some soil surveys of this area before we started construction, and the soil was not stable enough to hold the weight that we are planning to put here. So before we started construction, we had to dig down about 4 feet and remove the existing soil from the area where the plaza is going to be. And we replaced it with really good soil mixed with dry concrete. And so what you're standing on here is ground that's been stabilized with new soil and concrete, and it has passed all of our engineering specifications so that the submarine is not going to sink after we build it.
Good. But it has taken a good bit of technology, engineering, know-how, and so forth to make this come to life. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, when you talk to Conger, you ask, well, how many submarines have you built? 0. You talk to the welder, well, how many sails have you welded, or how many hull rings have you constructed? Nobody's ever done anything like this. So the people that designed it at MSP had to work hand with Conger and speculate how they were going to do it. They had to develop plans for doing this that nobody had ever done before. So the engineering and innovative skill behind it is just amazing, and hopefully that'll be part of the story.
So for people that are interested in donating, because this is a nonprofit,
Right?
and they could donate online,
Yes.
and what would that be?
Okay, we have a donate page on our website at www.subcincy.org/donate. And any amount will be recognized on the donation page that will be on our website, and the larger donations will be recognized with sponsor plaques and so forth.
Right, okay. And speaking of websites, currently I find very interesting, if you go on the subcincy.org website, you can actually follow along with,
As soon as we get power.
well, up until the time when you needed, now you need to rehook the cameras.
Yes.
But you were able to click on the construction like
Updates.
sublink
Yep.
for updates, and you could watch it in real time.
It takes a picture every 10 minutes. Right now it's disconnected because when they started building the new entrance, we had to move the construction entrance. When we had to move the construction entrance, that meant we had to move the camera and the construction trailer, and we don't have electricity yet. But we hope to have that in the next couple of days. So maybe by the time this airs, people will be able to see it. We also have a Facebook page, which has more immediate updates. And if you just go to USS Cincinnati Memorial and search on Facebook, you should bring it up. It also has all the historic pictures from 13 years ago when we brought the pieces to Cincinnati for the first time and had a welcome reception on Joe Nuxall Way next to the stadium. As well as we try to get updates, videos, photos up there at least every week.
Okay, very good. Well, I just think that it's amazing to actually be here. This is the first time I've been on this side of the construction fence.
Right.
And it's much different
Oh, yeah.
when you're like immersed in this, this site. And I'm so delighted that you were able to get the official okay for us to, you know, venture out here. The public will still be on the opposite side of the fencing, so
Correct.
you will not be here. That's why we hope that you'll watch Feelin Good, this episode, because there is so much to see right here on the Warren-Butler County border.
This is a benefit for the whole region. It's not just for one county or one township. And we're open, we're inviting all the schools after it opens to use this as a resource for their STEM education programs.
Very good. Well, is there anything else that you would like to include that we haven't discussed yet?
I think we got it covered.
Okay, sounds good. Well, we hope that you watch this episode. We thought it was very interesting to see the progress from a year ago. And so much had to be done underground, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, this just wasn't like put it here and place it on the surface. So much went into the underground, just like building a house or building any kind of a structure, except more elaborate, wouldn't you say?
I would say.
Yes, yes. So with that being said, we hope that you tune in and watch it, share it, like it, and we hope that you're feeling good. Bye for now.